Hello everyone and welcome back to This Week in Mythic Plus. This week we have Bolstering, Explosive, and Tyrannical. Let's go over those before we jump into it. Now for Bolstering, whenever a non-boss enemy goes down, all of the other non-boss enemies that are engaged in that pull will have their HP and damage buffed by 20%. For Explosive, you'll get periodic Fel Orbs that summon that start casting a detonate, and if they get that detonate off, it'll hit everyone within line of sight and 40 yards for 50% of their maximum HP. The last affix this week is Tyrannical, which just means that bosses do more damage and have more HP. Now for tanks, please always participate in the Fel Orb kills. You're already there in melee, you're already tab targeting to spread around your aggro, so it only benefits the group to have you also target the Fel Orbs within melee and actually take them down. Also note that these orbs can be line of sighted if you do need to position something in another room or chain pull in a certain way. So if you have a gauntlet, you don't have to worry about killing all the Fel Orbs along the way, just keep running and line of sight them. Also for this week, please make sure you cleave and AoE as evenly as possible. Because of Bolstering, you don't want the kills to be too staggered. You want everyone to go down as closely as possible. Also, this week is a week that you can go a little bit more aggressive with your tank build. You don't need to focus too much on survivability, since Explosive is going to hit you for 50% of your maximum HP, regardless of the gear you have. You shouldn't have to worry too much about really big hits, as long as everybody's doing their job and taking the Fel Orbs down. The very last thing to note, as a tank, if you start noticing that all of your kills are being staggered, and you get a target that has 5 or more stacks of Bolstering, that's when you need to start kiting everything. So be aware that you don't always need to kite with Bolstering, but if the stacks get above 5, it's a good idea to start kiting. For DPSers this week, please AoE and cleave to land as many kills as closely as possible. So try to avoid taking one target down and then moving on to the next. Keep everything as uniform as possible. Fel bombs are the #1 target priority this week at all times. If they're up, if they spawn, make sure to tab target and take them down immediately. Unfortunately, there is no /target macro that does not work on them, so you are either going to have to tab target or right click them. Also, if the stacks of Bolstering start getting too high and you notice that whatever pull you did went down really staggered, start throwing out some snares for your tank to help him or her kite. Heals should be ready for huge AoE healing abilities if one of the bombs actually does get the detonate off. That means that everyone will go down to 50% of their HP. And the other thing, if you notice that everything is going down at different times, start focusing more heals on your tank, since Bolstering is going to kick in and do more damage to them. Overall, this week comes down to two very simple concepts. Target the Fel Orbs immediately and first at all times, and cleave and AoE as evenly as possible to bring down all the targets at the same time. If the pull doesn't go down at the same time, throw out some stuns, throw out some snares, and help your tank kite. Overall, the difficulty for this week is really determined by how comfortable you are with Fel Orbs. If you have a group that targets them immediately and takes them down, this week gets as easy as a 3 out of 10, but if you have a group that doesn't target down the Fel Orbs immediately and lets 1 or 2 blow up every pull, then this week can get up to an 8 out of 10 because of lack of coordination. So this week, more than any other week, countering the affixes is key, because 2 Fel explosions means a wipe. The very last thing to know is that this week is just going to be a little bit slower than every other week because of the affixes. Bolstering and Explosive are both going to stop you from chain pulling and from doing really big pulls. So really, whenever you walk into a dungeon this week, aim for a 1 or a 2 chest as opposed to a 3 chest, because starting to do big pulls or starting to stay in combat and chain pulling is going to have a very negative effect on your group and may lead to more wipes. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, good luck out there.